Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the previous English class video, we got to know about the failures which the great persons like Abraham Lincoln, Lee DeForest, Colonel Sanders, Thomas Alva Edison, etc. had to face in their life and how they combated with their failures courageously to achieve the success. Now let's continue the lesson. Do you consider these people failures? They succeeded in spite of problems, not in the absence of them. But to the outside world, it appears as though they just got lucky. We came to know the difficulties these people had to face. In spite of those difficulties, they achieved great success. Their road to success was not smooth to go. People can only see the glory of their success. They are not aware of the struggles in achieving success. So they say that they are lucky. All success stories are stories of great failures. The only difference is that every time they failed, they bounced back. Bounced back when the ball is thrown at the wall forcibly, it again bounces back with the same force to the thrower in that way. This is called failing forward rather than backward. You learn and move forward. Learn from your failure and keep moving. In 1914, Thomas Edison, at age 67, lost his factory, which was worth a few $1 million, on fire. It had very little insurance. No longer a young man, Edison watched his lifetime effort go up in smoke and said, "There is great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burnt up. Thank God we can start anew." In spite of the disaster, 3 weeks later, he invented the phonograph. What an attitude! Thomas Edison, when he was no more a young man, at age 67, when he had achieved most of his life, he lost his factory worth few $1 million, which had very little insurance. Now, what is insurance? Insurance is an arrangement with a company in which you pay them regular amounts of money and they agree to pay the cost if, for example, you die or are ill or if you lose or damage something. So, in spite of this disaster, a terrible situation or event that causes lots of harm or damage, Thomas Alva Edison invented phonograph. So this instrument is called phonograph. Phonograph used to be the music player playing the recorded music from 1980s. If anybody else would have been in his place, he would have definitely fell into Great Depression. But Thomas Edison was brave enough and had a marvelous attitude. Below are more examples of the failures of successful people. Thomas Edison failed approximately 10,000 times while he was working on the light bulb. And do you know what he said? He said, "I came to know 9,999 ways which anybody must not use to make a bulb." So in his efforts, he found that. Next, Henry Ford was broke at the age of 40. Lee Iacocca was fired by Henry Ford too at the age 54. Young Beethoven was told that he had no talent for music, but he gave some of the best music to the world. See the next para. Setbacks are inevitable in life. Setbacks means failures, and inevitable means that cannot be avoided. So failures can't be avoided in life. A setback can act as a driving force and also teaches humility. Humility is that quality of the people thinking that you are not better than the other people. So it can teach you the modesty. In grief, you'll find courage and faith to overcome the setback. We need to learn to become victors, the successful people, not victims, the failures. So fear and doubt short circuit the mind. So if you fear and doubt on your abilities, that would simply damage your mind power. Ask yourself after every setback, what did I learn from this experience? Only then you'll be able to turn a stumbling block into a stepping stone. Now, what is the meaning of stumbling block? To stumble means to hit your foot against something when you're walking or running and almost fall over. So, stumbling block, which is some hindrance in your path, which can make you fall. So, see the sentence made with that. The second meaning of stumbling, to make a mistake when you are speaking, playing music, etc. So the newsreader stumbled over the name of the Russian tennis player. So he found it difficult to pronounce his name. That's how you can use the stumble word. So the stepping stone is something which helps you to move forward. The motivation to succeed comes from the burning desire to achieve a purpose. Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve." Conceive means to think. Now let's see a story. A young man asked Socrates the secret to success. Socrates told the young man to meet him near the river the next morning. They met. Socrates asked the young man to walk with him toward the river. When the water got up to their neck, Socrates took the young man by surprise and ducked him into the water. What is meant by ducked in? The first meaning, to move your head down quickly so that you're not seen or hit by somebody. So see the sentence made by that? With that meaning, the boys ducked out of sight behind a hedge. So they started hiding themselves. Next, to try to avoid something difficult or unpleasant. So she tried to duck out of apologizing. So she saved herself from the difficult task of apologizing, asking sorry. So Socrates ducked that man into the water. The boy struggled to get out, but Socrates was strong and kept him there until the boy started turning blue. So the boy was just unable to breathe. Socrates pulled his head out of the water, and the first thing the young man did was to gasp and take a deep breath of air. Gasping means to take a sudden, loud breath with your mouth open. Socrates asked, "What did you want the most when you were there?" The boy replied, "Air." Socrates said, "That is the secret to success. When you want success as badly as you wanted the air, then you'll get it. There's no other secret." The boy was in ultimate need of air. The boy was in ultimate need of air. He wanted the air badly. So, one must desire success in the same way. Then we can definitely achieve success. A burning desire is the starting point of all accomplishment. Just like a small fire can't give much heat, a weak desire can't produce great results. Now, let's read an inspiring poem, "If You Think," written by the author SHIV KHERA. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't. Cinch means it is certain that you will not get it. If you think you lose, you're lost. For out in the world, we find success begins with a fellow's will or willpower. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You have got to think high to rise. You have got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger and faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Sometimes the person may be strong and smart enough, but still he may not win the battle. But sooner or later, only that man who thinks he can will achieve the success. Jazakallahu khair.